I'm speaking to you today from the ancestral homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, comprising the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi nations, as well as the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Sac, Fox, Kickapoo, and Illinois nations. We give thanks for their presence here since time immemorial. Today, we observe Indigenous Peoples Day, an opportunity to honor Indigenous peoples and celebrate all the vital gifts that they offer to creation from their cultures, traditions, theology, wisdom, creativity, ingenuity, and so much more. The voting members of the 2016 ELCA Churchwide Assembly voted to repudiate the doctrine of discovery. The doctrine, which was first pronounced in 2 papal bulls issued by the Vatican and implemented by ruling monarchies, allowed European and later American nations to claim lands occupied by Indigenous or other non-European, non-Christian people who were deemed enemies of Christ. Since 2016, I have commissioned a task force to join me in leading the work to repudiate the doctrine and to recommit to building right, better, and just relationships with Indigenous people and tribal nations. This work includes the adoption in 2021 of a declaration of the ELCA to American Indian and Alaska Native people, confessing our church's complicity in the oppression and genocide of Indigenous people. We are developing an appropriate colonial settler narrative from a Lutheran perspective and enlisting our members to begin the ritual practice of land acknowledgement at the beginning of every church meeting or gathering to honor Indigenous peoples and Mother Earth. We are also working to better understand how to support communities impacted by murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls. We also support the advocacy work being done by and with tribal nations. In other action, the 2022 ELCA Churchwide Assembly voted overwhelmingly to support and encourage the act of giving property and land back to tribal nations and communities when our congregations and ministries close. What a statement of justice this is, and as the movement builds, it will become an important witness to the future generations of Christians. In the last month, we launched the Truth Seeking and Truth Telling Initiative, which is a grassroots initiative that focuses on the recovery and research of records of Indian boarding schools that Lutherans operated or supported during the Indian boarding school era in the United States. This recovery of records will encourage and support the healing of Indian boarding school survivors and their descendants, and the healing of white Lutherans and Christians who have been implicated in the perpetration of the egregious acts of Indigenous family separation, child abuse, murder, and the erasure of identity and culture. We honor the 574 federally recognized tribal nations in the United States and all of the other Indigenous peoples who have always been here, and those who have come from other places in the world to make their home on this part of Turtle Island, as this land is called by many Indigenous people. Together, we proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ and share in this church's ministry to seek justice for all people and celebrate the diversity of God's creation. As we observe this important day, we are mindful that every day is Indigenous Peoples Day.